All right, we're just hooking up the rig and we're headed to an empty parking lot because this video is about how to back up a fifth wheel or travel trailer with little to no yelling. It is actually possible.
Well, let me try one more time.
Okay, hold on. Come out, and the thing that I do differently than I think I see a lot of people, especially new RVers, is I go way further forward than you need. And I think people don't go far enough forward because they feel like the more they go forward, the more they have to back. It's counterintuitive. But in reality, the more space you have, the easier it is because you can get the right trajectory and you're dealing with more space and you can start making corrections. Right there. I think you did this on your first shot without a single correction.
I did it.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
And
thank you.
There was a time not too long ago that it was very difficult to find an empty parking lot. But not so much. But you know, just to put a little timestamp on this video, Arizona opens tomorrow.
Yes.
So that's pretty exciting. And Bryce National Park, I heard, opened 2 days ago.
Yes.
So that's all good news. But that's not what we're talking about. Today we're talking about backing up the trailer. And there's just a couple things that I wanted to chat here in the cab before you get in the driver's seat and we start talking.
And?
So I wanted to first talk about the simple stuff. Let's just cover the basics.
Okay.
Communication. Right out of the gate, I think a lot of people know this, but just in case, we're gonna cover our bases. You know, when we first started, we were saying, okay, move over to the right a little bit. I think it's natural when you first get started. Move over to the right. And I was like, what do you mean right? So we learned very quickly that passenger side, driver side was the way to go.
Yes.
And now you say things like, you know, just a little bit passenger or a lot passenger or sharp passenger, but it's always passenger or driver, okay? In terms of communication to talk to each other, our go-to is our cell phone.
Hi.
Okay.
Okay, so you're really going to want to concentrate back for a little bit because these two twin trees are tight.
Okay. Our cell phone, because this truck is equipped with Bluetooth and the speakers are really good and it's really loud. And with the newer diesels, the engines aren't as loud, so I can hear pretty well even with the windows down. There are times when we don't have cell phone coverage. It's very rare. But in those times we have walkie-talkies if they're charged and not lost. Right?
I love all the what ifs. Yeah, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so I think it's important to have the walkie-talkies as a backup. You might want, you know, if you don't have kids, there's a good chance
Your walkie-talkies will be great
they'll
for
be
years.
fine. They'll be fine. The reason that walkie-talkies are not our default is because I found very quickly that I needed to push the button. It's not like I'm gonna get a headset gear. And so oftentimes it was just Trish talking to me. But on Bluetooth, I'm able to say, how do I look?
You ask questions.
I ask questions.
Yes.
Okay, so communication with each other through walkie-talkie, cell phone, passenger side, driver. I feel like it's really important that your travel partner or spouse, whomever you're gonna spend the most time traveling with, that you both have the ability to back a trailer, even if one person does it more. And here's why. I have been like coaching new couples on backing, and I have found that RV newbies, the navigator, or the spotter, we should say, the spotter really doesn't know what to call out.
Right. Well, and they don't have a feeling for the turn. So like they'll say, turn right now, but really your wheels need to be in a certain place.
Yeah.
And so for you to give accurate directions, you need to have it kind of like a feeling of what
And
the
I've
trailer
been in
does.
situations where they're saying, okay, well, there's rocks over here. And the driver said, well, where? You know,
I don't know.
And I feel like if both people have the skill,
Yes.
they would be a better spotter. I guess that was a very long way of saying that if you are equipped at backing up, you'll be a better spotter.
Ta-da!
There we go. Okay, so I think that kind of covers some of the basic type stuff. How do you give someone experience and before the pressure's on and you aren't in an RV park and somebody's waiting to get by and you're blocking the road and people are watching? Because let me tell you, you roll in at 5 o'clock at night. You roll in between about 4 and 6, yeah?
3 to 6.
The happy hour time, and
You are gonna
it's like,
have
hey,
an audience.
hey, go get ice and a new drink, okay? All right, so here was my thought. What makes backing a trailer tricky for an RV newbie
Yes.
is overcorrection. Just like steering when we were with Bondron. Overcorrection. You turn the steering wheel, you look in the back, it didn't move, so you turn it a little bit more,
Crank it.
and now you've overcorrected, and now you have to come back, and that's where all this comes from.
Yes.
So here's what I was thinking.
wiggles.
I'm thinking the first step is to do a straight line back in.
Okay.
A straight line back, like right down there. And what that will give the driver, a new driver, the ability to do, with the windows down, looking in the rearview mirror, it will help them kind of create muscle memory on how, let's turn this off, on how long does it take for the trailer to react to the maneuver.
Yes.
And I think repetition in a straight line back will train the brain and the hands and the steering wheel to go, oh, if I do that, that happens. Oh, if I do that, this happens.
Right.
Repetition in that will dramatically improve.
Well, and that's good for even in a new rig. When
Just
you're getting
understanding it.
Just understanding it, because the fifth wheel had a different access point
Because the
versus the trailer.
the kingpin was directly over the axle. That's what makes it sometimes a little easier to maneuver. Not sometimes, it is easier to maneuver because of that. Yeah. But you know, I like the travel trailer too.
All
Are
right,
we ready?
so a long backup. That's what we're gonna do. We could do it right here. Hey,
Okay,
maybe
so-
you should set the cones out.
All right, so let's show you our cones, and we're gonna get the drone up in the air, and we're going to go through some practicing, and then we're gonna set the cones up in a sight, and we're gonna go through our step-by-step approach of what you need to know to put it back in a sight.
Great.
We good to go?
Yes.
All right. All right, first, let's get our cones out. Missy and Dean gave this to us when we were in St. Louis. These are the coolest things ever. So this is what we're gonna use for our straight line back and to simulate an RV site, but the reason I got these was actually because when we would go to a grocery store or somewhere where we'd park way out in the back of the parking lot and we'd take up all those spots in a parallel line, we would put these out so that no one parks directly in front of the RV. Literally, Trish and I have been in a situation where someone parks directly in front of us and directly behind us. Anyhow, look at this, look at that. Look at that. Here, wait for it. I'm gonna park right there. That's where I'm gonna park. This person just rolled in. I'm gonna park right here, right behind this thing. Right behind that. That sounds like, that's a good idea. So let's get these set up and then Trish, get in the driver's seat, right?
Yeah.
I want a little instruction first. How do you want to do it?
Let's just go.
Let's just
Why
go.
not?
Let's
Rip the
just go.
Band-Aid off.
Let's just go. What's the plan?
There's a plan. Well, I don't know. I guess I'm just gonna go around this way and then come down and line myself up so I can back up.
Okay,
Okay?
I'll record. So you've probably heard a technique when it comes to backing about putting your hand at 6 o'clock and then moving your hand in the direction that you want the trailer to go. That's how I learned when I was 16 and backing up a boat, and it's something I still use to this day. Now, the more you do this, the less you have to remind yourself, but every once in a while I'll be in a situation where I'll get kind of mixed up and I'll just put my hand at the bottom and go, I want the trailer to go that way, and so I move the steering wheel this way. So I think a good way to use that technique is to let that initiate the way you need to turn the wheel, and then once you get the hands on the wheel, you kind of can just adjust accordingly. But it's kind of like a go-to thing, even with a lot of experience. I'll put my hand on the bottom, I want it to go that way, move it this way. I'm looking through this mirror, I want the trailer to go to the passenger side, I'll move it to the passenger side, and so it's just a quick way to just unconfuse yourself.
Okay, so I'll use that when I'm backing up so that I make sure that I'm going the right.
Yes. And I think the first couple passes is just getting a sense for how long does it take for the trailer to react to the maneuver. I think that's
smaller moves than you think.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
My glasses. Ready.
All right.
Really? Seriously, what happened? I was just going, and it just started going that way.
Okay, what's your plan now?
I'll go forward. I'll try again.
Okay.
isn't going very well. Let me try one more time. I'm about to kill a cone.
Okay.
Is there an easier test?
Is there an easier test?
Get at what's going wrong?
What are you learning?
Nothing. I'm trying to do this. I'm trying to go straight. How come I can't just back up straight?
I think.
You know what? I heard there's a car with a knob.
Now you pull this up, put it in reverse, which is R.
Yep, thank you.
You know what I think it is?
What?
Your hand is staying at 6 o'clock. So I use the 6 o'clock method to kind of get a sense of, hey, I need to go this way or this way, but then I think you're being limited by only that amount of movement. You're actually not steering enough. If you can keep it kind of a fluid motion,
okay.
I think you're moving the steering wheel and keeping it there.
Okay.
And it's getting more and more out of alignment, and by the time you recognize it, you make another movement.
Okay.
Kind of keep the steering wheel fluid, like as if you're on a boat, and you're kind
Don't
of
start bringing boats into this, okay? Just okay. That was helpful.
That was better?
Yeah, because
Wait, what was helpful?
not to hold on to 6 o'clock.
Okay.
6 o'clock is only to like remember, okay, if I go this way, the rig is going to start turning that way.
Yes.
And then you have to put your hands on
Yes,
here.
and drive the truck.
And drive the truck.
Yes.
And be paying attention to your mirrors, because I was like just looking at the cones and going like this.
Okay, I'm glad you brought that up. When you're doing the ski boat down the aisle, you look at the end.
Yes.
Because if you look at the buoys, you end up driving the boat like this. But when you look at the end, and same thing with backing your trailer, you're gonna have to kind of like look long and get back there and kind of keep the steering wheel fluid.
Okay.
Is keeping the steering wheel fluid, did that kind of help a little bit, or was that?
I think I just mainly needed to think about this is only to get me directionally aware.
And then just drive.
And then I need to drive.
Okay, so there's just 3 steps to get your trailer into that site. And the first one is to pick a reference point. Step 2 is to position the truck and trailer to prepare you to go back. And step 3 is something that truckers call goal, which is get out and look. And it's completely okay and expected to do that 1, 2, or 3 times. So let's get started. Okay, so let's talk about step 1, which is the reference point. In this case, this is our site. And so the reference point is right here on the corner. Imagine if there was a concrete site right there on that corner as I'm backing in. I want the tires to be, I want the trailer tires to be, well, I'm gonna mark it with a glove. I want the trailer tires to be right there. I know if the trailer tires are there, that's gonna be a good position for me to get in. I know that if I'm 2 feet away from, let's say, the pedestal and the driver's side of the RV site, I know I'm not gonna hit anything on the other side. Now you should always have a spotter, and there's a couple rules for a spotter. One is if you're talking to them on communication on like the phone or walkie-talkie, it's a little bit more flexible. But if you don't have those devices, Bob and Shirley, they're the ones that took us down to Mexico, they have a rule. Bob does not back up the rig unless if he sees his wife Shirley in the mirror. That's their rule. When she goes out of the mirror, he stops. I think that's a fabulous rule. But what you don't want to do is be standing anywhere in between the RV, behind the RV, at all. So anyway, so we'll go back to here. I'm gonna pick a reference point, and I'm gonna pick a reference point so that when those trailer tires go in, it'll keep me about 2 feet away from the side, and then I'll know that I'm fine on the other side. So let's talk about positioning your truck and trailer for this site. And to do that, I'm gonna do a little bit of an S-turn, and I'll tell you why. If I come in and I do an S-turn, I come in closer to the site like this. And then I come out over here like this. This is the S. And I go pretty far forward. And I start turning back in on the S right here like this. Now, what that has done is it has allowed me to position the RV so it's already pointing to the site that I want to go. All right, step 3, get out and look. Oftentimes when Trish and I are doing this, And it's difficult because I don't know. Trish says, why didn't you get out here and look? And I'll walk out and I'll go, oh, I didn't realize that. And I'll get back in the truck and put it right in. It's very helpful to get out and look. There's a pole back there, so I want Trish to make sure that I don't bump into that pole. What did this take? This took two extra minutes. Could end up saving 10 minutes of and I can tell already from looking at this that this site is probably a lot smaller than in real life, because those tires are exactly where I want them and there's not quite enough room on the other side. So we might have to make a little bit of buffer, but we'll see if I can get it in there. The tighter the site, the more it jackknifes, and so that's something I have to watch out for. And then the sharper you make that turn, the more that truck is gonna swing around the front. So I'm gonna get this a quick little once around, and then I'm gonna just see if I can put it in anyway. Maybe we kill the cone. Okay, I think this is just the perfect site to be, the perfect parking lot to be doing this, because this right here, I can't tell you how common it is, because a lot of RV parks have a one-way road, and as a result, it's very narrow between. As I'm coming in, I frequently have to get around this little curb, and so what I'll do now is I'll go back and I'll just make sure my front tire goes around this curb, and then I'll start turning hard again. And then I don't care where that trailer goes in that site. It doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be straight. I just need it back there, because once I get that trailer back in the site, I can pull forward, line up my mirrors, pick a reference point to go back, and then just bring it straight back. And so more times than not, I'll just do a 3-point turn into a tight RV site. And I would say this is a pretty tight RV site.
My spot's one of those luxury big ones.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like Kramer, like a Kramer lane?
Oh yeah.
Wide lanes. This is so luxurious.
There's
Hey.
RV parks that have nice big sites.
That's right. And you got to start somewhere.
You do.
So
I like that
this
site.
is my spot.
Trish's nice, big, giant luxury site. Oh yeah, baby.
Oh yeah.
That is fantastic. Keep coming, you're good. I think you did this on your first shot without a single correction.
Woo! I did it.
Nicely done.
Thank you.
High five.
And thank you. I think that the person that's teaching you can only give you so much information.
Yeah.
And then you just have to do it. You have to feel it.
You just it's just practice.
Even if you make a mistake, you're just gonna lose a cone.
That's right.
Right? Because you're practicing.
Yes.
So even if you lose a cone, it's fine. Then you're like, okay, I get it. Like, because you have to get it in your mind and your body.
Yes.
So anyway, sorry, that's not very helpful, but it'll make sense when you do it.
Do you think the straight line back up and kind of
mastering your straight line backup is number one.
Yeah.
Number one.
Because now you have more confidence doing this.
Well, right, because if I was trying to figure out that and then turning, but the whole access point thing and knowing where to start the turn, yes, the reference point, that is harder.
It just takes time, and eventually it's just getting to the point where you know what the rig's gonna do before you move the steering wheel. And the only way to do that is through repetition.
Yeah.
And in time, it just becomes second nature.
Yeah. Practice and have fun, and then you feel like, okay, I could do this.
Yes.
Now, if people were watching and there were rigs everywhere, I'd be very nervous. Very nervous. That was fun.
That was fun.
So what do you think is the most important part of backing in a trailer?
I think what I learned today was when we were preparing for this.
Yes.
Is that getting experience on the straight line, I think that was good. And then also having both people in your group understand what's up.
Yes.
Like, what'd you say?
Situationally aware.
Yes.
So that if whomever is helping navigate that turn, they understand what you need to know.
There's only been about 3 times in our 4 years of full-time RV, and we've been almost everywhere now.
Yes.
Where I really, really struggled to get it in. And that was when Trish was not helping me. Meaning someone from the RV park said, I'll come out, I'll help you put in that site. I'm like, oh great.
No.
And so
we usually say, no, thank you. That's okay. Thank you so much.
And sometimes RV parks don't. They just, they're just like a mom and pop thing, and they don't want you wrecking anything.
Yeah.
But they don't communicate the same way.
Right.
Yeah. And then, can I have one more point?
Sure.
There was one time where I wanted to just kind of like beat my chest and, like, it was a hard site to get in. I'm like, yeah, And I put it in there, but I went a little too fast.
Oh.
I was trying to show off.
Where was this?
I don't want to say.
Okay.
But it made me realize in that moment, the objective of backing a trailer,
yes,
the only objective is to get that rig in a site without damaging anything.
Yes.
That's the only goal.
Well, speaking of goal, that's
Yes.
mine. My favorite and I think most important thing is goal. Get out and look. It changes your entire perspective.
It does.
And it also puts you in a mindset to slow down because you're not going to just put it back there. You're going to get out, you're going to walk around, you're going to look. Yeah. So there's like a timeline and you're just on the first step, second step, third step.
Yeah.
I like goal.
You just reminded me of something else. The pressure's on when we tend to be holding people up and maybe somebody's waiting and roll your windows down. I've said this before. Roll your windows down, make eye contact, wave.
Yeah.
RVers are nice.
Yes.
Even if they're a little uptight and a little impatient, if you make eye contact and you wave,
99.9% of the time,
they're gonna wave back.
Yeah, they know what you're going
They're gonna
through.
say, take your time.
Or they'll even look down at their phone. They won't even like look at you. They know you need to focus.
Yeah, but if you kind of like don't make eye contact and you're rushing along, that's when things are gonna go
That's
bad.
no good. Okay, and then another tip, which I think is extremely important, is if you have younger children that are not part of the process of driving and backing up, they need to be in their seatbelt.
Yeah.
When we first did this, everybody was like, we're here! And they'd jump out and they'd be in the rig and they'd be walking around. And I'm like, no, everyone's in the back seat with your seatbelts on. It forced a mentality of I'm going to sit here and sit still. And
I think
it was just really good.
In time, we learned that about 5 or 10 minutes before we get to an RV park, we'd say, okay, when we show up, Mom's going to get out and she's going to have the walkie-talkie or the phone and she's going to back me into the site. Everyone's going to stay put. And then when we get the site in, then Carson, you're going to help me hook up the water, and Caleb, you're going to help me do this, and we'd create a game plan, because you're right. Otherwise, it's just like chaos.
It was chaos.
Yeah.
And that was elementary school kids. Now our kids are in high school and college, and we don't face the same challenges. But
it's like, okay, come on, it's time to get out of the truck.
They're still like doing something on their phone.
Yeah.
So anyway, but I think that having a game plan for your kids is really important, because then everybody stays safe and you start on the right foot.
Yeah. Other than that, we are hitting the road in just about 2.5 weeks, which means there's only 2 more instructional type videos, which in a way is kind of good, because once we get on the road and we're traveling and we're making videos and we're doing stuff, it's actually kind of hard to do videos like this. So some people really like them, but we prefer our travel videos, and we're excited to start making those again.
Yeah. Well, and we want to say thank you so much to everyone who has gotten their Summer to Remember shirt and has sent us a picture of the list downloaded, filled in, and it's, all these cool things that people are planning on doing. So if you didn't know, that Summer to Remember list, totally free. Download it from our website. And if you want to snatch up a Summer to Remember shirt, now is the time.
There's only 3 more days.
Yes.
And then if you did get one, in 3 more days, they're going to start printing those and getting them out. So we're super excited. A lot of changes this year, a lot of flexibility.
We have to remain flexible.
Yeah, but
yet confident.
It's still going to be a Summer to Remember.
Yes.
So that's it for this video. If you like it, give it a thumbs up and let us know what you got out of the video down below. And as always, we're going to see you next Sunday, 7 Central.
Bye. I feel good that I know how to back up a rig.
Yeah?
And I know how to go in a semi-straight line.
Yes.
I mean, not perfect.
It only gets better from here.
Well.
So maybe what we do now is when there's not a lot of activity in an RV park, you should always back up.
That's not a bad idea. Can we go at night?